Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to yet another edition of Gate 7 International. I'm Kostas Llanos, or Kostas with a K if that excites you, and I am joined by none other than the Daily Star's overnight editor in the US, the one and only Dimitris Kouintsidis. Dimitri, thank you so much for joining me. How the hell are you?
Hey Costa, yeah, I'm good in the normal sense, but yeah, I'm bad. I'm suffering bad today, as people on the Patreon chat know. It's been a rough day for sports for me.
Well, yeah, it has been quite. I think it's a trifecta for you because there's the basketball loss to Baskonia, if I'm not mistaken. There's the loss to West Ham tonight, and then there's the loss from Liverpool to Toulouse, is there?
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan in the Prem, so I've had 3 for 3, and all three have been really close losses. I mean, yeah, forget about Liverpool because we're here talking about Olympiacos, but both basketball and football, where I think the closest you could lose a game, in my opinion, because neither of those did we deserve to lose. Against Baskonia, I thought, especially when we turned it around from 18 points down, we should have won. And with the West Ham, with the football game, I thought at least the draw. That game looked like a 0-0 or a 1-1 to me. Once they scored, more like a 1-1 because we actually looked like we were going to score once they scored. Before that, it looked like a 0-0 all day long. But yeah, here we are, and I'm struggling.
We're going to cover everything, though, Dimitris. Do not worry about that. But just a bit of housekeeping before we get things underway, guys. Obviously, do not forget to like and subscribe. Let's keep spreading that word. Let's grow this channel. It's unbelievable for me, especially. I've been following Olympiacos since 1999. It's unbelievable to me going to Karaiskaki and meeting people from all over the world, from Australia, from the US, from Europe, from South America, with Olympiacos shirts and telling me we traveled all this way, we spent all that money to watch our favorite team play tonight. I never get used to this incredible feeling. Olympiacos is everywhere. It's not just Greece. It's not just Cyprus. It is everywhere. Let's keep growing this channel. We have some exciting content coming to you, especially on Patreon. So please do support us on Patreon. Please do go on patreon.com /Gate 7 International. We got some amazing packages there that start from €1 to €5. And soon enough, we're going to have some merchandise coming your way. And there's going to be some packages for €10 to enjoy some amazing merchandise. We bring you some exclusive content with some amazing interviews. You recently added an incredible interview with the daughter of Alketas Panagoulias, the first ever manager who led us to the World Cup back in 1994. Some insane stories right there, explaining why Greece didn't succeed in this tournament 10 years before they took the world by storm in Euro 2004. Obviously, that's what I'm talking about. And obviously, you can get to join us on our amazing WhatsApp group where we get to give you all the amazing insight. We get to enjoy a bit of banter and everything you need from Gate 7 International, and spreading the word. And all news Olympiacos will be coming your way. So guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Obviously, we're here for one major reason, and that is the Olympiacos game with West Ham at the London Stadium. Quick shout outs to the one and only Costa Levoyani, who was at the stands tonight, spreading the word with the lovely away fans from Olympiacos who killed it tonight with their passion, their chanting. They completely overshadowed the West Ham fans. And obviously, from personal note, I would like to give a big shout out to my colleague from The Sun, Sam Street, who went as well to watch Olympiacos versus West Ham. Some good words good things he said about Olympiacos. The one that got away, he said. We're going to cover all of it right now. And guys, please do join us. Please send us your questions. We'll be sharing your comments, and we're going to have a nice little discussion. So, Dimitri, would you like to kick us off a bit from the basketball? You got us going over there with Olympiacos and Baskonia. What do you make of that match, and what's next for Olympiacos and Giorgos Barzokas?
So last season, the basketball team, actually the last couple of seasons, the basketball team has been a very healthy part of the club, and it's given us a lot of really high highs. 2 years ago, getting to the semis, last year getting to the final, losing with last second shot by Yui. So we've been optimistic, but it's been a tough start to the season. And today was one of those games where it just shows that something is still clearly lacking, because we started the game. It was really early game for me in the US. It was very early. It was 12:15. But you could see even the fans in Greece, the stadium was not full at all because it was an early game. It was a 7:15 game, so not a lot of fans could make it. And we started really, really well. And you're thinking, okay, well, great. We've been really, really quite shit on offense this season so far. And you started really, really well. 26 points in the first quarter. And you're thinking, fantastic. No issues with offense. Peters starts with 12 points in the first quarter. And then second quarter, it's like watching men against boys. I think we lost it 30-9. Something like horrifically bad for a team like Olympiacos that prides itself on its defense. And then it's a mountain to climb after that. You're going, 18 points down. You start the second half with 15 points down, and you're just fighting to climb back, and you're just fighting to get back into the game at home against Baskonia, which theoretically you should be beating quite comfortably. Win the third quarter quite well. We played really good defense. Offense is back. 7-point game going into the fourth. We start really well, bring it to 1-point game, and then everything dries up. Like, seriously dries up. And we just can't get ahead. And we eventually get a lead, I don't know, with 2 minutes left. And then it goes back and forwards for a bit. Ladizakis makes 2 clutch free throws with 10 seconds to go. And they have the last offense and step back. I don't remember who made it, but step back, I think, in Kanan's face. Wriggles in, 0.7 left. And yeah, we lose a game that we really shouldn't have lost at home. And now we're 3-4 for the season. 2 wins at home, only 1 win away. And that was to Panathinaikos. So I don't think we've won outside of Greece. It's tricky because a lot of people are calling for signings. A lot of people are mad with Sigma for being injured and not having played, considering he was meant to replace Vezenkov. Mad at Brastakis because he's come in and hasn't really performed so far. Mad at the team as a whole. And it's like, it's frustrating because you want to give this team all the faith and the support that you can after this decade-long success. And yeah, it's just, today we really shouldn't have lost, especially not in that way, coming back from 18 points down. Yeah. And that was just the start of the day. I mean, I don't know how many people managed to watch the game. I don't know if you had the chance to watch the game. And you guys in the comments, I don't know how many people managed to watch it, but frustrating. I'd rather lose by 18. I'd rather lose with my hands. I'd rather lose my hands down and not put in any effort than lose a 1-point game like that, considering we fought back and brought it back. That's just my opinion.
So how do you see Olympiacos' bid to repeat last season's Final Four success? Obviously, Olympiacos came this close in winning their, the fourth European Championship. I watched this at a bar, the same bar I was in tonight. It was absolutely, it was just heartbreaking. It was heart-wrenching, the way they just, they just collapsed at the end. So what are the chances of seeing Olympiacos in another Final Four this season, would you say?
I don't know about Final Four. This is the thing. As Greeks, we're at the extremes. So we're either like, oh my God, we're going to win it all. We're the best team ever. Or we're, this is shit. Everyone needs to leave right now. Fire everyone. So I don't think that we should even be looking at the Final Four, in my opinion. I think we should be focusing on getting into the playoffs, because a 3 or 4 start to the season is not good enough at the moment. Exactly what Southpaw just commented. We've got a lot of injuries. We're waiting for McKissick to get back at the guard. We're waiting for Sigma to get back at the forwards. That's when we're going to have a full team. Let's see what happens once that happens. But Zoka said it like yesterday or the day before in his interview. We don't need signing. He doesn't, like, the signings that we're making are the ones that are coming back from injury in his head. And this man could do anything. He could shoot a baby for all I care. And I'm like, this man's amazing. So I trust him fully with what he's doing, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I just don't think that we should be thinking about Final Four at the moment. just playoffs, in my opinion. Get into the playoffs, try and finish as high up as we can, hopefully get home court advantage. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. I reckon we can beat anyone. We could lose to anyone at this moment in time, but Olympiacos can always beat anyone in basketball. So I think just focus on that at the moment. Fix this form, get people back, and we'll get there. Final four, we'll worry about that in, I don't know, 5 months' time. Playoffs for now.
It is a long road ahead, and the same goes for football, really, because you're thinking to yourself, oh, the title or the cup, oh, making it past the Europa League last 32, let's be honest here, or the Europa Conference League. It's taking it one step at a time, which brings us to tonight's game at West Ham. I feel like there's so much to analyze here. It's just how weird was that game? Olympiacos defeated West Ham fair and square at Karaiskaki in one of their most famous European nights, beating them 2-1, which obviously had an extra sting in them because of the way that they celebrated their goal by showing off and rubbing it in to the away fans after a VAR check. I was very shocked by that. I never really understood that. Was it because the fans were louder than their own fans? Was it? I did check with Costa and asked him, like, were the fans a little naughty? Did they do something they were not supposed to do? I don't have that kind of indication. But that's how Lucas Paquetá decided to celebrate his goal along with his teammates. Then they went on to beat Offi, obviously, and then they lost to PAOK like it was nothing, with a horrific defensive display. Then they went to West Ham, where the defense was solid. It was quite solid, actually. Just a few little hiccups, but they were solid other than that. But the attack went completely absent. And before I open the floor for you there, Dimitri, I would like to start by saying that the day started really weirdly because Olympiacos got rid of their chief physio in Christos Theos, which was a devastating blow in my opinion. There's someone who's been with the club for 12 plus years, almost 13 years with the club. The players had a lot of confidence in him, a lot of trust in him, and it's very important to have that trust between physios and players because players get injured all the time and they need the best by their side to help them come back better than ever. And after the Juancar incident, with him being sent to Iguia instead of a public hospital, Olympiacos feel like they need to end their collaboration with Metropolitan because the Metropolitan have the exact same owner as Iguia, and because Christos Theos is linked to Metropolitan, they could not continue with him. I have to say I was very devastated by those news, and I really hope they don't have the. I remember when I started the Daily Star, 2015. That was when Leicester won the league, 2016, and that was also the season when Chelsea finished 10th after a disastrous start that saw Jose Mourinho firing Eva Carneiro because she decided to come on with her assistant to check on Eden Hazard, who was injured in their premier match in the Premier League against Swansea. And after Carneiro was fired for a very unfair way and in a very unfair manner, Chelsea just collapsed. And my information says that the Chelsea players were very pissed off about that because Eva Carneiro was very popular within the club. So, well, I don't want to overthink this, but Christos Theos was very popular, not only with the way he treated the players, but also the way he treated the opponents. When he rushed in to treat Sokratis Dioudis after he was accidentally kneed in the head at Karaiskaki by Bibras Natko, he always looked after the opposing players as well. A true professional with the most amazing name for a doctor, but now unfortunately he's not with us anymore. Other than that,
he hasn't died, by the way. He hasn't died. The way
of course he hasn't. He has been dismissed. I do apologize. You made it like that. I am 3 beers in, and I am very unapologetic about that. So now he's no longer with Olympiacos. He's been dismissed. So now I want to pass the baton to you there, Dimitri. I want you to take us through how do you feel the lineups were at Karaiskaki, at the London Stadium. What were your initial thoughts when you saw the lineups?
So brief opinion on West Ham's lineup. Pretty much exactly as I expected. I thought Moyes would play a much stronger side than he did against us in Greece. And it's what we were saying. I don't know if any of you guys watched my chat with the West Ham network, but that's what the West Ham fans were saying. They were all expecting West Ham to put a strong side, and
They meant business. They meant business.
They meant, maybe, yeah, because for them losing the game to us in Greece was not just a pride thing, but it also messed up the whole qualification process, because they thought they'd win the first 4 games and then sort of sit back and play the B team / the kids, and they've lost the game in Greece now, and now they've gone to, oh crap, we need to make sure we win at home against Olympiacos, and then they need to win their next game to qualify, and then they need to win the one after that to guarantee first place. Like it's not done. Like we messed them up. So he 100% was coming to win. They were coming to win. So he played the squad that I was expecting. Yeah, there wasn't a couple. Not everyone was a first 11 player. Mavropanos, for example, doesn't start in the Prem, but maybe
Zuma was injured.
Yeah, I know that Zuma was injured, but like that's what I mean. Like the fact that Zuma was injured, but also I reckon he would have played anyways because it was against the Greek team. So I think sometimes maybe he was thinking, oh, he knows the style of play, maybe he can get in their heads, whatever, they play with each other in the national team. But he played the strongest team that you could have expected for that game. When it comes down to our starting 11, honestly, I was very happy. Look, I've said this before, and I think a lot of us have said this before, a lot of the fans in these games. Well, actually, we're going to start one by one from the defense, actually, before I say it. So obviously goalkeeper, right back, obvious. Centre backs, obvious, Retsos. And Porozo, I think, deserves to be where he's at the moment. And personally,
that doesn't change. You don't change that. After that first West Ham game, you don't change the centre back pairing.
You don't change it. Ndoi had a shocker against Dopola. Frare had a shocker against Freiburg. I don't care what happens in the Greek league. It's a different pressure system in the Europa League. You're playing against better opposition. And Porozo had a good game and went against West Ham. Today, arguably, he was our best defender defensively, because Rodinei, I think, was our best player overall. But that's a different story. We'll get on that later. But Porozo, great. So those four, including Paschalakis, obvious. Ortega, now, he'd been starting Kinney for a lot of the big games earlier on, but now we're starting to see Ortega, which is what a lot of us have been calling for. Thank God Ortega started. I think he's a much better player than Kinney. I feel like most of the fans agree. So backline, goalkeeper, everyone's happy. I was happy so far. Midfield, again, something that a lot of fans I feel like have been calling for, me included, is pack that midfield. And that is the best midfield I think he could have played. And we saw that against West Ham. I think he played the same midfield against PAOK. Yes, it maybe didn't work, but you want Heze, Camara, and Alexandropoulos. That's the midfield 3 for me, because you need to win that midfield battle. I know Alexandropoulos is young and he's Greek, so people are going to shit on him because he's Greek, and as Greeks, we like to shit on other Greeks. But I think that needs to be the 3 in the midfield. I don't care if Alexandropoulos is young, and I don't care if Heze is playing every single game. Do not play him in the league against small teams. Play him in the big games, because he is our best midfielder. And then Camara, obviously, we all know about Camara's quality. If he wants to turn it on, he turns it on. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But you can't bring anyone else on to replace him, because our replacement is Ibora. Or you're putting another player further up, like Masouras or Skarpas or Bakin or whatever, or Biel, which in these games you shouldn't do. So formation-wise, very, very happy. Now, lineup up front, he went with what we were sort of expecting when it comes down to Fortounis and Pedence, your 2 best defensive players. That means Masouras is on the bench, which we're going to get onto in a bit. I'm happy so far with a 10 out of the 11. And then up front, he's starting Jovetic instead of El Kabi. Now, at the start of the game, when I saw it, it's going to look bad on me, but I was happy. I was pleased to see Jovetic start.
It's not bad, and I'll tell you why in a bit.
But as the game progressed, I was like, holy shit, he hasn't won a single header. I don't think he's touched the ball. And then El Kabi comes on, and he's starting to actually win possession and kind of keep the ball up for us. I mean, it wasn't a Zlatan Ibrahimovic-like performance or Harry Kane. Like, don't get me wrong. But I think in his substitute appearance, he did more than Jovetic did in his starting. And I was annoyed at myself for being happy that Jovetic started because I don't think he performed like what I was expecting him to. So I was happy with the starting 11, but at the end of the game, I thought that 2 of the 11 were a mistake. I would have rather had El Kabi. I know that people disagree with me in the comments here. I would have rather had El Kabi, and I would have rather had Masuras instead of Pedense after Pedense's performance. But yeah, we'll get on that once we actually talk about the players.
Do you know which number-wise, what is your appearance here? Is it your second, your third, your fourth? Have you kept score?
Fourth, I think.
See, now here's
my
why
first one. My first one was La Mia, not La Mia. Yeah, La Mia in August. I don't remember. I think like fourth, fifth, fourth. Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure.
Here's why you might need some alcohol handy, because I'm about to.
Oh no, I've been drinking. Don't worry.
I'm about to ruin your mental health right now, because I'm going to ask you, my dear friend and my dearest colleague, do you know how long it's been since Ayub El Kabi has scored for Olympiacos?
Shit. Okay. When did El Kabi score? He didn't score against PAOK. Didn't score against West Ham. Didn't score against Offi. Didn't score against Olympiacos. Did he score against Topola? No, Pedense. Pedense had both.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't tell me it was the Freiburg game.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it must have been after Freiburg.
Very depressing.
After Freiburg.
What about you, comment section? When was the last time you scored? Anyone from the comment section? I'm going to give 10 seconds.
Oh my God. Okay, I reckon it's been like a month and a half or something. Because I'm going back the games and I'm thinking to myself, he scored against Freiburg and he said that wasn't the last time he scored. So I'm assuming it's 1 or 2 games after Freiburg. No, I was before Freiburg. Yeah, so
September 27 against Aris at home.
Aris,
he hasn't scored at all throughout the month of October. And now we're in November the 11th, because I'm in Greece now, so that's quarter past 1. The 10th of November. So I feel like it makes great sense that he started Stefan.
No, but this is what I was saying. I mean, I was happy originally that he started Jovetic. I didn't think it was that far back that he hadn't scored, but I knew that El Kabi needed a sub. Like, the man was too comfortable. He hadn't scored in a long time. What I'm saying is that as the game progressed, I was like, holy shit, Jovetic was not good, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying.
I would like to bring some comments on now that we've got the blog going on a roll, and thank you guys for joining us. Let's start here with Cerberus. Not a good night, defeating both basketball and football. Dimitri, he's your guy right here. Here's from Southpaw.
I empathize, bro.
Absolutely. And I don't know if Cerberus is also a Liverpool fan. Here's Southpaw, who has been supporting our channel for a very long time, a real OG. The team has a serious problem in build-up. Hwang is a huge loss. I couldn't agree more. Personally, I feel like Hwang would have been much better to have than Mady Camara. Mady Camara is also the kind of player that he's either on or he's completely off. I don't think he was off tonight, but still, like, we're going to get to it. But Olympiacos were really missing their top performance tonight. And I think you guys know where we're going. Go for it, Dimitri.
Mady Camara is like, not at quality level, but when you're saying to either top or shite, Larizakis in basketball, for the basketball fans. Because Larizakis is literally the man that can win you a game on his own, but that will happen once every 5 games. He will drop 20 points in the fourth quarter. Last season, he was called Mr. Fourth Quarter. But the majority of the games, he could be completely shit. And Camara has that up and down. Camara can be, we've seen it, he can be incredible. But if he's not on, oh my God, is he bad? So yeah, sorry. It's but yeah.
No, do not apologize, because I got a nice one for you right here. This is made for you from Periklis Robotis. Hi guys, I respectfully but totally disagree about Barzokas. Over to you, Dimitri.
I'm guessing he disagrees that I said the fact that Barzokas could kill a baby and that man has amnesty. I think he has amnesty for at least couple of seasons
Obviously,
he
we're
could do anything.
joking. We're
Yeah,
not in
obviously,
favor of baby killers,
it's
guys.
like it's
Relax.
like
Don't
yeah.
cancel us just yet.
It's like what Costa said earlier about Christos Theos not being with us anymore. He didn't mean he was dead. It just means he's not with Olympiacos anymore. Bartzokas,
Hey, that's different.
but yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is Bartzokas, he's given us so many happy memories, and the things that he's done the last two games, the last two seasons especially, he's turned the team that was not even making the playoffs into championship winning teams. So this season, just if he's saying we don't need signings, then we don't need signings. Like, he's doing his job. Are you going to tell a heart surgeon, sorry, mate, you're not operating correctly? Yes, we can criticize, but that's the extent of it. Like, get behind the team, get behind Bartzokas. Eventually, it will work out. And if it doesn't, then we'll give it some time, and then we'll fix it. But I give him time.
Absolutely. And let's hear from Costa Levoyani, our correspondent tonight at the London Stadium. Football is inches. That is absolutely true. Ortega stepped up too late, and Paqueta was onside. Camara header at the end, an inch to the left, it's a goal. His balance was a little off as well. Story of the game. We were competitive at least. Might join you soon. Oh, well, there you go, guys. Big news. The one and only Costa Levoyanis might be joining us if his tube doesn't fail him from Stratford. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about the game here, Dimitri. So I feel like there's good news and some bad news, and I want to start with the bad news because I think there's really good news in this whole thing. And if you're on Patreon, you're going to know what I'm talking about because I've already analyzed this after West Ham eliminated Arsenal from the Carabao Cup. So the way I saw this, I think Kostas is absolutely right. Olympiacos showed signs of competitiveness, but their big names, they went missing. No Podense. Kostas Fortounis was a lot more disappointing than he was in the first leg. Stefan Jovetic absent, completely isolated. I feel like Santiago has put together a good match in linking the lines together, keeping the lines together, defense and midfield and attack, very important player, and Sotiris Alexandropoulos as well. It felt like there were too many heavy touches up front. It felt like there was a serious lack of the final ball through. The best player who could create something up front in terms of final ball was none other than Rodine, in my opinion, who is a luxury for Greek teams right now. Rodine is an absolute luxury right now. 2 years ago, we were moaning about the lack of fullbacks, and here we are with Rodine and Francisco Ortega, who I really personally rate highly. What do you make of that, Dimitri? Do you think our big personalities let us down tonight?
100%. Because, okay, Fortounis against West Ham arguably had one of his best games. I mean, he's had a really good season. He's had the best season. So he's had the best start of the season so far than he's had in many, many seasons. Okay, now, don't get me wrong, and everyone agrees. Fortounis, along with, in my opinion, Rodine, have been our best players so far this season. Okay, Fortounis has been fantastic. The game against West Ham so far for me was the pinnacle. That was the first game against West Ham, the one in Greece. I thought it was spectacular in that game. I thought it was really, really good in that game. Today, he had moments where he kept the ball really well. He was trying, but it just wasn't working for him. And then you saw as it went on, he started getting a little bit more frustrated, and it culminates with the 89th minute yellow card or whatever, where he's throwing the ball. And it's like you need your captain to have his head a little bit more screwed on right in that situation, in my opinion. But it's just because he's been so good so far this year, that's why we were let down by him, because we're expecting so much from him just because he's been so good this year. It wasn't like, if it was a normal player playing, you wouldn't have been like, oh, he was shit. You'd be like, he was okay. But because you're expecting so much from your so far star man is why we're let down. Podense was more of a disappointment, in my opinion, because Podense just really was non-existent. I was saying earlier that Jovetic was non-existent, but Jovetic, it's different. Podense is, again, your
He
star
needs balls.
man.
Jovetic needs balls. There were no.
Yeah, but
What could he have done? Pick the ball in midfield and dribble past everyone.
No. But that's what you'd hopefully expect Podense to do a bit more. Like, pick the ball up and create something, because he is theoretically your Okodos, like your little magician, like the one who gets the ball and does something special. I think apart from around the 30th minute where we had probably our first big chance, that cross, and then he hits it on the half wall and sort of slices it. Apart from that, I don't really remember him having any good chances, like sort of being involved in anything productive offensively. That was a really good chance, but at the same time, a really difficult chance. So it's not like, oh my God, he missed a sitter. If he had scored that, it would have been a worldie. So it's one of those. So yeah, Fortuni's slightly disappointing in my opinion. Podense very disappointing in my opinion. And just to touch on your last bit, Rodinei, my God, this man, I love him. I love him every time. I feel like this is the thing. This is the common denominator, and every single time I'm on a show that this man is he's been fantastic. Honestly, he's been fantastic. He plays the whole right wing on his own. He's our most offensively today. I think he produced the most offensive chances. The way he was moving forward, I haven't looked at any of the stats. I literally left the Sindesmo in New York and came straight home to do this. I haven't had a chance to look at anything. This is just coming off an opinion of the game, but I think he was the most dangerous threat that we had going forward, and he nearly scored as well. Like he destroyed his defender. Like how Troop says from AFC TV, put him in a spliff. He absolutely rinsed him, and then just tries to curl it in the top corner of the left hand side, send it top bins, and he just misses. And yeah, I think he's been fantastic. He's been brilliant, especially offensively. Costa, you're muted, mate.
Before we get on this comment, I'm still learning. Before I get into this comment, Dimitri, have you ever used the Elizabeth line?
Oh yeah, I live on. I mean, when I lived in London, I lived on the Elizabeth line. It's the best. It's the best thing that ever happened. It took about 5 years.
The best thing that has ever happened. And I feel like none other than our dear old Costa Levoyani used the Elizabeth line tonight to get home so quickly. Costa, thank you so much for joining us. My friend, 2 questions. 1, did you use the Elizabeth line? And 2, what did you make of this amazing experience of joining the away fans at London Stadium, which obviously rubbed the West Ham players the wrong way?
No, I did not take the Elizabeth line home. I took the DLR and then Jubilee line and then Overground. Actually, very efficient way getting to the stadium, then getting out. That was great. Honestly, bitter pill to swallow tonight. It's a bitter pill to swallow because I don't think we deserve to lose. Not that we played well enough to win, but I think we could have taken that point. I'm annoyed, you know. And I think I wrote a comment earlier while I was walking home. Yeah, well, I'm going to go downstairs for a beer in a minute, mate.
Do it now. What have you been doing all this time? I'm on my 4th one.
I'm at home. My parents are downstairs. Anyway.
Oh, we are clever.
Mate, football's inches. That's what I said earlier. Football is inches. Literally, Ortega plays Paqueta on by half an inch or whatever it is. VAR check, goal, and then Kamara's header, if it was a half an inch to the left, that's a goal and you equalise. And that's football, man. Those are literally the 2 moments in the game. And then Rodinei's shot as well when he's cut inside. I thought we pressed them quite well the last 10 minutes because stoppage time, mate, it was ridiculous what was going on. Argy Bargy, their players falling over, just trying to let the clock run, kill the game. I thought it was pathetic, and the referee lost control. Game was done. But yeah, Paqueta's celebration, uncalled for. The atmosphere in the ground.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think it was uncalled for because I feel like just they were just angry because the away fans outstaged their own fans, and I think that
Yeah, but
pisses
that's
off
not.
players, especially a
Yeah, but
Latin American. It will piss him off because it
yeah, but
comes on from a very passionate, fun fan base.
that's not hard. Like whenever we go to an English stadium, it's pretty bollocks unless you're up at Newcastle, St James's Park, or
Or Old
Anfield. The
Trafford.
atmosphere. No,
Old
do you know
Trafford.
what?
They
Old
have us. They
Trafford.
have us at the end of the earth on Old Trafford. 2014. I remember being. Oh my god! I was closer to the sky than I was to the ground.
Mate, I mean, I remember being at Old Trafford and losing 4-0, and after 4-0, you know, the Olympiacos fans, the 5,000 fans that are there still singing, and then, you know, they kept singing "You're Not Singing Anymore" after every goal, and we kept going. And then, you know, they then all got up and literally the whole stadium got up and clapped us. That was a 4-0 defeat, turn of the century, like when I was still a
Yeah,
teenager.
I was a kid back then. I don't know about you old
Yeah.
people, but yeah.
But like at the London Stadium, they do this wicked light show just before the game starts, and it was really, really impressive. Great experience. But as a football away day, it was a bit tame, like because the acoustics are pretty. They're not. It's not a football stadium. It's not a football stadium. It's the Olympic Stadium that was built by taxpayers' money here in the UK, and they've literally put ramps at the bottom and added some seats, so that we weren't that loud. Like I've been to away games. I've been to a lot. That was one of the tamest like Olympiacos crowds I've ever experienced because just the noise doesn't travel. So Olympiacos fans below, Olympiacos fans above, and they can't communicate with each other. And just the noise is kind of, it just dissipates because it's open. So yeah, man, like atmosphere, it was interesting experience, like nice stadium, but not a proper footballing stadium. Gutted for the defeat, but at the end of the day, you know, it isn't mathematically over, but I think realistically we were always looking to take third place and go conference in this group, to be honest. And I wrote it on Twitter, and I'll shut up after this.
No. You can go on for as long as you want, man.
We are paying dearly. We are paying dearly for renewing Youssef El Arabi's contract last season. We're paying dearly, literally paying him 2 million a year on a closed contract, and we didn't spend money on a striker this summer because Jovetic started the game, and I was happy to see that. From a build-up perspective, when he did manage to hold up the ball, like he has the ability to play others, like bring others into the game better than El Kabi can. But what we missed was movement. We were trying to counter-attack in the first half, and Fortunis was getting the ball in midfield, and there was no one ahead of him. And Jovetic was kind of waiting to get the ball so that he could release it to someone, and he should be running forward, like making a diagonal run. Nobody was doing that. And I heard you talk about Pedence already, and for me, he should have come off at half-time. He was absolute ghost on the pitch today. I don't know what's going on, but looking at his movement and the way he was on the field, he did not look well, like on his feet. In Greek, we say "then patouche kala." He didn't look good. There was something about him, like his movement, like he couldn't get his legs moving. So I don't know what that's about, but also for me, tonight is another night where the manager has lost the plot. Confused on the bench. I think Fortunis at the end, like there's a free kick we had outside the box, and he's just like sent it to nowhere.
That was disastrous.
That was him tired physically, and it impacted like decision making.
That cost us 3 minutes, by the way, of stoppage time. That literally cost us 3 minutes because then they got the ball back, and by the time we actually got it back, it was 3 minutes later.
So that's it, guys. That's pretty much all I've got.
You touched on a lot of subjects. I would like to start by saying I just received a message. There was nothing personal about Christos Theos's departure from Olympiacos. It was the Metropolitan link. That's what it was all about. That's one thing I want to say. Number two, you touched on something that I was thinking about today, Costa, and you said about El Arabi, paying dearly about El Arabi. I feel like what Olympiacos are paying for dearly for is the fact that they renewed Pedro Martins. Because that's what's going on right now. This is the hangover Olympiacos are going for. Because if you let Pedro Martins leave in peace with a big old trophy in his hands and an open mic and an entire Karaiskaki chanting his name, giving him a standing ovation, him saying whatever he wants to say on the mic, and then Olympiacos bringing in that new manager for the new era, it would have been a different story right now. I don't know. What do you think, Dimitri? Because Costa and I, we have discussed this many, many times, and I don't remember you ever touching on that. We're not wrong though, are we?
This is. I'm gonna get called out. I'm gonna get hated on for this. I don't think Martins should have left. So I disagree, Costa. I'm sorry. He started to lose it towards the end, but we'd won the league. And he'd been there for 4 years or 3 years. Like, I don't like this whole like revolving door syndrome that we have in Greece. It's a very toxic culture that we have. And he'd been there for a long time and he'd created something. And then for him to leave would have not worked out well, in my opinion. At the same time, clearly I'm wrong, because he left like a month later, and then we had the shit show that was last season. But I mean, at the same time, I would going back. I don't know how in my heart I would have gone like, yep, it's a good decision for him to leave at the end of the season. So yeah, I'm sorry, I disagree, and I'm going to get a lot of hate on this because I know everyone disagrees, and everyone's saying, "Oh, Martins left too late. He should have left at the end of that season. He should have probably left before the end of that season." But yeah, I disagree. I don't know. Maybe I have a soft spot. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe I'm saying about Barzokas, that I give these coaches too much of my faith and too much of my trust. Maybe it's the British in me, but I can't believe that we want to get rid of someone that quickly. It's the same with Martinez. Like, I don't know about what you guys are hearing in your circles, but the New York fan club, my God, they want his head. And in no way, shape, or form do I think Martinez should leave. Like, the man's had 3 months. 4 months, like, do you know what I mean? You can't have this revolving door syndrome of getting rid of your managers when the team shit or play. Yeah, the players letting Martinez down, or like everything else around. It's like United fans wanting Ten Hag gone. I right in the head. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. That's me. Sorry. You can't always blame the manager for everything.
I don't agree with that title below. Players let Martinez down. I
wanted to touch on that, but please go on. Please go on.
There was a question, like somebody was commenting, do I agree with the subs he made tonight? I mean, there is a broader issue in terms of the squad and the players that we have available. He's clearly mixed up. He's clearly confused with the players that he has, particularly behind the striker. Like, Biel's come on in the last 5 minutes of the game, like trash time.
Which is not, what is he supposed to do for you?
Exactly, but like Solbakken didn't come on today because he had a bad game at left back, because he decided to play him at left back against PAOK and expose him. I thought it's the type of game today where you play him. He's a big body against an English team, and Fortounis was done, man. Fortounis was done after 75 minutes. He was done. He's played 90 minutes against PAOK, played 90 minutes again today. And Potente was nowhere.
And they put Fortounis on the left wing at the end as well, which is not where you play him. You're wasting him. So if you're going to put him there, you might as well take him off.
That's the thing. We were getting overrun on that side as well. But to be fair to him, like he gave more effort than other players that were on the pitch, and he was tired. So like I respect him for that. But the manager should have made better subs like earlier. He was sleeping on the fucking bench, man.
No, but the issue is who can he? Realistically, there's not much choice that I'd trust to bring on apart from that Masouras sub earlier on, Masouras for Pedence. I don't, and El Kabi for Jovetic. I don't trust anyone on that bench to come on in a big game like that and turn the tide. So my issue is not that the subs, he made incorrect subs. My issue is he didn't make them at the right time. He should have made them earlier. So, but bringing someone on, it's not like, oh, you should have brought this player on, or you should have taken this player off. He should have just done them 10 minutes earlier. And for me, it was just El Kaabi for Jovetic and Masouras for Pedense. Because no one else coming on is giving me any sort of belief. I don't trust them. I'm sorry, it's like Barzokas in basketball. At the moment, he's playing with 7-8 players. It's the same with Martinez. Until the other players prove to him that they deserve to be playing, get them the hell out. If they don't deserve it, they shouldn't be playing. As simple as that.
I do want to touch on that. Sorry, Costa, but I do want to touch on that. So you mentioned the subs, Costa. Which were the correct subs? What kind of substitution should Martinez had made tonight?
I agree with what Dimitri said. It was more the timing. But the reason I say
So you agree with the substitutions, but not the timing?
No.
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at the comment. I'm so sorry. Someone says you look like Fortunis from Wish.
Yeah, it's probably the beard. What was I going to say? This is where I agree with the title. Players let Martinez down. The players that let Martinez down are the ones that he keeps trusting week in, week out, or gives opportunities to, and they don't give anything back. But he's still, like, that's why I say earlier he's confused. Like, he gives opportunities to Solbakken. He starts him at Offie. Then he puts him on at left back against West Ham. Like, Biel doesn't play for 3 games, comes on for 3-4 minutes today. It just like that's why I say he's confused. So they're not giving something back to him, but he's also not doing himself any favors in terms of just like game management in general. You could see that, like before they scored that goal, that the game wasn't really going anywhere. We were starting to get tired. It's like, all right, mate, like time to make some subs. It's obvious. And before Masouras came on, he was ready to put Carvalho on. Carvalho was getting changed with Scarpa. So what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't understand. And I'm not trying to shit on the manager. And I'm gonna go, guys, because like I'm tired and I want to go to bed. It's been a long day traveling here and stuff. I don't want to shit all over the manager. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Like, Olympiacos fans have an expectation, right? That's what it is. Like we're disappointed tonight, but every time we come out on the show, we've got to remind people it's a fucking transition year. We're rebuilding this team. It's not perfect. You can't progress in Europa League if you don't have a fucking striker that can do something unpredictable. Like, we just don't have that in the final third. We were toothless. Tonight. And it tells you the fact that our best opportunities today, they came from Rodinei towards the end of the game. Like, we had one attack in the first half, that break down the left with Ortega and that snapshot that Pedense had that went wide. And then the post from Camara. Like, no shots from our striker. Nothing. So you're just waiting for Fortunis to do something. And he couldn't do that tonight. So it is what it is, guys. And we go, and we're probably going to go down to the conference. And I think it's for the best.
Easy on that. If we beat Freiburg, it's a completely different story.
Costa. Who's going to score?
Ma έτσι είναι όμως, ρε Costa. This is how it is. Like, you remember, you were here when Labros and I Dimitri, did you actually believe we could beat West Ham at home? Did you actually expect that? I'm asking Dimitri, not you.
Before the game? No, okay. Yeah. I had 2 predictions. I had a realistic one and a hopeful one. What my heart and what my mind was saying.
What was the realistic one?
So the realistic one, I said we were going to lose 2-1. Because I definitely saw us scoring. And again today I saw us scoring. West Ham cannot keep a clean sheet to save their lives. And they kept one today somehow. I mean, they shouldn't have, because Camara should have scored. Yeah. But West Ham, I mean, I reckon you put us 3 up front, one of us is going to score by accident. Like, it's going to hit us on like the shoulder or something. It's going to go in, because West Ham is shocking. So I was thinking, there's no way they're keeping a clean sheet. I just didn't realize we were going to score twice. But my hopeful one my heart did say 2-1 to us. We're going to go 2-0 up, and then they're going to score last minute. And today I said my realistic expectation is we're going to lose. I said either 2-1 or 3-1. I don't remember what I said, but I said that we're going to. But the hopeful one, what my heart was saying, was a 1-1 draw, and it should have been a 1-1 draw at the end. So, yeah, but I think we're going to beat Freiburg, Costa with a C. We're a better team
Costa,
than they are. I know.
before
I keep saying this. I keep saying this on Patreon. Freiburg are fucking shit. We're so much better than them. We need to beat them. I'm sorry. I'm fuming with the whole Freiburg situation, much more than I would with West Ham.
Costa, can I keep you on for just one final question? I understand you've been through hell today, and I do apologize if I came off a little rude beforehand. Because I want to ask you both actually, and I really want your opinion on this, Costa, as well, because Olympiacos are a bit of a roller coaster kind of team. You have this team that beats West Ham, then they beat Offi, then they get absolutely destroyed by PAOK at Karaiskaki, probably the most embarrassing defeat in Greece in their history at Karaiskaki, and then with some horrifying defensive work, and then they go to West Ham where the defense was decent, but the attack was horrifying. And Olympiacos have scored 26 goals in 10 league matches. That's almost 3 goals per match. So what do you make of that? What do you make of that inconsistency, shall I call it? What do you think is going on there? How do fans translate that?
I've got a really easy answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it on a West Ham channel the other day because they were like, how did you guys eat 4 goals at home? You're 4-0 down. The team was unbalanced against PAOK because we didn't have a left-footed player playing left back. It's as simple as that for me. It really is.
We didn't have a left back playing left back, let alone a left-footed player.
Yeah, it's like, look, in Greece we play a much higher line, right? Even though today we know that about Martinez's game. Like, it's very dependent on Camara and Hesse, like stealing balls, like up the field, forcing a long ball so that Retsos and Perozo can, head it down to someone and recycle possession. That's very characteristic of Martinez's style of play, I think. And we were honestly we were past their halfway line, super high up. The thing is, I think against PAOK, we were unbalanced down that left-hand side, and that's where Zivkovic was playing for first half. I really think that having that right-footed player, it unbalanced us with Kinney at left-back against PAOK, and it exposed Fortounis as well. It didn't allow Fortounis the creative freedom that he's had in previous games. So I think that's part of my analysis of why we looked so bad against PAOK. And I think Ortega coming back in today, it balanced the team out again. Simple as that. You offer the width, you have shape, and that's really important. Like when you're defending. And maybe one last thing is that let's be real. These games, they're being watched by scouts from across Europe. Like, these are the games where these guys are going to run that much harder, give that little bit more effort than they are in the Greek games, even if it is a derby at home. These are the games where the Madi Camaras are trying to attract teams for their free transfer, or Hesse, Ortega, all the foreign players, man. They want to be seen in these games, so they give it that little bit more.
Absolutely, Costa. I mean, thank you so much for joining us. I believe you've had a very long day. Great
Big
work
up.
tonight, and we're very much looking forward to your vlog.
Big up to all the Olympiacos fans I met today. Unbelievable. And
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You're a local celebrity, mate.
Got fucking recognised in the toilet, in the urinals. Oh, you're that guy. Yeah, I'm taking a piss.
I really hope it was your face that they recognized, not something else.
All right, and big up to all the people that are here tonight supporting, and good to see you guys. Subscribe to the channel. There's a vlog coming from the West Ham game today. Don't miss that. Night, guys.
Good night,
Good night,
man.
mate.
Good night, man.
Have a good rest.
Very quickly, guys. We've been doing this for almost an hour. Please do like and subscribe. It really, really helps the channel to grow, bring you some more content as well. Like I said, Olympiacos fans all around the planet. Costa has just told you that it's just amazing the kind of fans that we get to meet from all around the world. It's incredible for me to meet fans at Karaiskaki as well that come all the way from Australia or New Zealand. Absolutely insane. Please do like and subscribe. Let's spread the word and let's grow the channel. There is a question I have for you, Dimitri, and I wonder if you can help me with this. But as the title says below, what the hell is going on with PPL? Like, how can you explain to me that? I remember I was reading a lot about Olympiacos preseason, and Diego Martinez was very big on PPL, both Spanish. I think he wanted him at Granada, I think, or Espanyol. I think it was Granada. And he was very thrilled to be working with him. And there were times when Greek reporters would say that Martinez would take PPL on the side and tell him things. It looked like he really rated him. And now we see him falling down the pecking order behind Gustavo Scarpa, who doesn't look very invested at Olympiacos, and Joao Carvalho, who, let's face it, he's not a future legend of the club. What the hell exactly is going on with PPL?
So I agree with what you said, because at the start of the season, Biel was starting, wasn't he? And he looked like the sort of player that he looked like a teacher's pet, sort of player that the coach is gonna play because for whatever reason they click, they work well together. So I don't know what happened after that. I mean, to change that, I mean, what happened is probably Pedense signing. And then that meant that Biel was on the bench. Fortunis is playing really well. You can't drop him. It's the same with Masouras. Masouras got dropped, and Masouras has been starting for pretty much every manager we've ever had because he's a workhorse. What surprises me is what you said. How has Biel fallen behind Scarpa, who couldn't give two shits to be where he is with Olympiacos, Carvalho as well. Both of those players, you can tell it in my tone of voice that I'm deflated with them, that they're deflated. Do you know what I mean? Like the sort of, they bring out this like just shit attitude out of me because of how their performance and what I've been seeing. I'd have Biel higher up than them, to be fair, because Biel's played for Olympiacos before. It's not his first season. He scored a couple of goals, both at the start of the season and in previous seasons. He has that bit of trickery where he can do like take on a couple of players or like have a crack from outside the box. I'm not saying start him, but I'm saying he should arguably be, along with Masouras, if Masouras hasn't started, our first offensive players off the bench in that sort of midfield, like attacking midfield option. So yeah, I'm confused as to what's happened. I mean, it could be the shit hair that he has. That Martinez is just.
I doubt it. I seriously
horrible.
doubt that.
I'm not playing him. He looks horrible. I'm not playing him. No, it can't be that. But yeah, I'm just as surprised as you are. I really don't know what it is because yeah, that's for me. He'd be one of the first subs on, and that's from someone. I still don't think he's offering what he should have been offering, considering what he did at Copenhagen and how much money we paid for him. He should be a starter, but he's not playing like a starter. He should be a starter, but he's not playing like a starter, so he doesn't deserve to be starting. But at the same time, no way in hell are Scarpa or Carvalho ahead of him.
It is a bit weird what's going on here because we got 2 goals and 4 assists and 14 appearances, which is not great, but also not horrible. We're talking about 6 goal contributions per 14 matches.
But that was in the first. That was in the first few games. That was in the first few games. He hasn't even been over the 14.
Yes and no.
He had them in the start. He started well.
But that's an extra argument why you need to use him. And I don't know. I'm having a feeling like a Nugo Kauper / Svetozar Markovic with this one. If we let him go, he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to kill it. And the thing is with the January transfer window, I don't believe I've ever told you that, Dimitri, but I spoke with Nikos Dabizas, who used to be a sporting director at Omonia and Panathinaikos, and he said that when it comes to January transfer windows, it's all about tweaking. You cannot build a team on a January transfer window, and Olympiacos just need a center back in the January transfer window. We cannot have a winger, we cannot have a number 8, we cannot have another number 10. We just need a goddamn center back in this transfer, and I don't want to see anyone else coming in this January other than a goddamn center back. And all that Nottingham Forest nonsense. Can you name me one player that came from Nottingham Forest and actually contributed?
I might be completely wrong, but didn't Rodinei come from Forest? Or am I making that up?
I don't think so.
Where did Rodinei? I know he came last January. And I was thinking to myself that
he still belongs to Olympiacos. He belongs to Olympiacos.
That would have been a Forest signing. No, I've got no. I can't name anyone then. I mean, Bouchalakis.
People shit on him. Came from Flamengo.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I don't know why I don't know what I had to do with Rodinei and Forest. Okay. Bouchalakis was at Forest and then he came back. Was he on loan at Forest or was he signed and then he came back to us?
He's the best player that came from Nottingham Forest. He was on loan. I think he was.
Because I remember interviewing him. I remember interviewing him when he was at Forest. Yeah. So, but I don't remember if he was on loan at Forest or they signed him and then he came back to us. But yeah, he's the best player. That's come from Forest. There you go.
Bouchalakis is the best player. We're in trouble. Yeah. But I do want to ask you about another player here that struggled tonight, and that is Sotiris Alexandropoulos. We didn't see much from him in this game. I mean, obviously, you just mentioned that Greeks like to shed on Greek players, but then there's the other side of this, that Greek players like to push Greek players. They want to push the local talent. So there's two schools of thought on this one. But tonight, bit toothless, lacking on the final ball. He had an opportunity to shoot as well. He had a good chance to shoot and try his luck with, like he did with Genk. Not much from him tonight. What do you make of his performance tonight?
Yeah, I agree. Slightly disappointing because I've been a big fan. I've wanted him to start. I as I said at the start, I like that midfield that we had, the three with Heze and Camara, and I want him to play. And I'm a fan of Alexandropoulos. And but today he was a little bit disappointing. He lost possession a couple of times, a few times. He had that chance to shoot, which he just didn't take. I don't really know what to say about what happened with Alexandropoulos today. He just looked a bit off, which was disappointing because, as I said, I'm a fan, and I think he's got a lot to offer, and I think he's a starter in this team. Hopefully, it was just a one-off, and he sort of fixes it next game because I think he has a lot to give, and he's young, and not just for us, but I think for the Greek national team as well. Like we're so short on good players for the Greek national team, and if Alexandropoulos can, in my opinion, he could be a starter for the Greek national team, just like he's trying to be for us. So, yeah, I think it was a one-off. I hope it was a one-off because I have faith. I like him.
I would like to move to comments a bit as we start closing it down. And I would like to bring out the good news of the situation because we did focus a lot on the bad news from tonight. Honestly, a team like West Ham, I expect us to be able to beat at home quite regularly, to be honest. Well, you are Olympiacos. Andrea Onana said something the other day when after the loss to... they beat Fulham, but they were still getting stick. And he said that, playing for a club like Man United, it's part and parcel to be criticized like that because it's a big club. Well, there you go. Olympiacos are a big club, whether you like it or not. So getting criticized like that and expecting big results is part of this. I like that. I'm not gonna read that, but Mr. or Mrs. that you send this message, thank you very much. Let's see some more comments here. Yeah, can you read that?
Yep. Okay, I see it.
Okay. And here we have quite an interesting. I mean, I'd rather Rodinei at left back than Freire. Freire doesn't play at left back, even though he's right-footed.
I think they mean Kini. I think they mean Kini.
Yeah. You need quality, and we saw today Ortega is miles ahead of Kini in terms of quality. Yeah, I think we both agree on that right there. Let's see. Here we got something about Alexandropoulos again from our good friend Southpaw. That's an answer to Southpaw. Alexandropoulos gets in his own way, in my opinion. He does good things, but for some reason refuses to pass the ball, and therefore I don't know what he's trying to say there. But Alexandropoulos is a very good player, and I don't think anyone really, other than Rodinei, Paschalakis, who was immense tonight, immense by Paschalakis, immense performance by Paschalakis, and Retsos with Porozo. I feel like back four, Paschalakis, Eze, that's it. That's it for tonight, isn't it, Dimitri?
I agree. But I also agree with this comment. Alexandropoulos today, even though I was just praising him, he did have an issue with his passing. He was on the ball for too long. Needed to give it a bit faster. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same person. It's literally what you just said. I agree on this comment. He should have been faster with the ball. He lost, and then when he did pass it, it was off. Like the passing was an issue today. But yeah, what you just said as well, Costa. Defensively, Porozo ahead of Retsos. I know you said Retsos with Porozo. I don't know if that was just the way you were saying it or if you meant that Retsos first, but Porozo was a better out of the two centre-backs, in my opinion. I thought he was a rock today. But yeah, I think defensively and not even Heze. None of the midfield particularly were great or above 5.5, in my opinion. Heze might have been the best of the three. I know a lot of people in the comments saying that Camara was the best. I didn't see that. But yeah, defensively and Paschalakis were our best players, in my opinion. We can Alexandropoulos into Paqueta.
Yeah,
okay.
No. I don't think he'd be doing those flicks as well, those Brazilian flicks as well that Paqueta likes to make them more easy.
Fetfadzidis was the closest thing we've ever had to like a Brazilian sort of flary player, and maybe now Fortounis, but even he's not really. Although Fortounis sometimes has the little petulant attitude of a Brazilian when he gets pissed off and gets all sulky. So maybe.
I think he's having the best season probably of his life right now, and he is. I feel like he is captain material right now. But I would like to close this up with some good news, guys. So I'm looking at the tables here. Let me get them up. So West Ham are top of our group with 9 points. Freiburg are second with 9 as well. Olympiacos with 4 points. Batska Topola with 1. Next game, Olympiacos against Freiburg in Germany. So here's the thing. Olympiacos need to beat Freiburg. That's it. This is it. The first final of the year is at Freiburg. Olympiacos almost got a result against Freiburg last season when we were the second. Here's the thing. Here's why I love having you here, Dimitri, because I'm saying things that I say every week in this podcast, and I wonder if you've heard this. Last year, we were the second worst team since Petrina Chronia, which was from 1986 till 1996. And that team, last season's disastrous, depressing team, almost beat Freiburg away. So if that depressing team can do it, surely this much improved team that beat one of the most informed Premier League teams in the world can do it as well. So if Olympiacos beat Freiburg, which they have to, let's face it, if they want to be in the Europa League, they have to beat Freiburg. That takes them to 7 points. Freiburg at 9, West Ham at 12, because let's face it, they're going to beat Batska. West Ham are playing Freiburg in London, last game of the season. Last game of the season, the Europa League group stages. So stay with me. 9 points Freiburg, 12 points West Ham. West Ham cannot afford to lose first place. They beat Freiburg 2-1, if I remember correctly. There was a 1 goal deficit. So if Freiburg beat them 1-0 in London, then we look at goal difference. And that alone, right now I'm looking at it, Freiburg have a goal difference of 7, West Ham have a goal difference of 3. West Ham cannot afford to lose first place, Dimitri. If they lose first place, it's going to be very, very bad for them because they're in the Premier League, obviously. They're going to be in the FA Cup, obviously, again. They're also in the Carabao Cup because they eliminated Arsenal. They're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup.
They've got Liverpool, Liverpool at Anfield.
And they got Liverpool. And you're going to agree with me as an English person. You're going to agree with me. There are 2 things Premier League managers like to bitch the most about. Number 1, referees. Number 2, you want to guess what it is?
The amount of games they have to play. Fixture
congestion. Bingo. So West Ham have to beat Freiburg in the last game. They're not going to field their seconds.
They don't have to win. They have to draw.
They do. Yeah, well, but if they play their seconds, then Freiburg are going to have a walk in the park, aren't they? Hell, we did.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Freiburg, aren't they? They
At the same
have, they
time, there's
can't
no
lose.
guarantee they're going to win. No, this is the.
But even a
I
draw
wish.
works for us. Even a draw works for us as long
No,
as we beat
because of
Pascal.
Freiburg's goal difference, right? Because Freiburg's goal difference.
If we beat them with a 2 goal difference, then a
Oh,
draw
okay.
doesn't matter. If we
So
beat
then
them
we're
by a
going
2 goal
into.
difference,
But then
but then
we're
there's goal
assuming
difference
we've
as
beaten
well.
them. Yeah. Then we assume we've beaten them by a higher margin than they've beaten us. So now it's what Southport just commented. This is we keep on dreaming material. Yes, there's now we're getting into the realm of a little bit. It's getting a bit too perplexed. Now we're expecting too much.
But you understand what I'm saying. West
Yeah,
Ham
no,
have no
I get
reason
it.
to
It's
play
in our
their
hand.
seconds.
I think it's in our hands. But I think a draw today would have made a huge difference because then West Ham are playing to beat Freiburg in the last game. Whereas now with this result today, they're playing and they're thinking, worst comes to worst, the draw's fine. Do you see the difference? That's the only difference.
No, I see it, but they really want to avoid the fixture congestion.
Yeah, of course, no, 100%.
They have
100%.
a very thin team. Extremely
100%.
thin. Yeah.
No, I agree. They don't have a good rotation.
Well, as we, we're almost over an hour here, so shall we move on to coach's grade and our man of the match for tonight's game? So Dimitri, who was your man of the match tonight and why?
Yeah, I think I've made it pretty clear, but Rodinei was my man of the match tonight. So as most games, he's offensively just runs that right side. He handles the whole wing on his own because he's just a monster and just sort of bashes through everything and just plays the whole wing up and down. And I think today showed that again. I think he's more of an offensive right back than he is a defensive one. He's more of a Trent Alexander-Arnold sort of player where you expect so much from him offensively that sometimes defensively he might be caught out. But at the level of Olympiacos, that's a luxury that you don't tend to see. You don't tend to have such a good offensive fullback because they'd be playing at somewhere else, in my opinion. So I thought he was great, and he had the second best chance of the game after Camara's post. In my opinion, that where he cut inside, completely annihilates his defender, and then just curls it slightly over the top left corner. And I think that just goes to show because he created that by himself, and he did a lot of those where he just kept attacking and driving and just trying to create something on the right hand side. So yeah, Rodinei for me, and I'd be quite surprised if anyone says someone else other than Rodinei. But I do have a soft spot for him. I feel like every single show, I do say Rodinei was the best or had a great game, and I don't know what it is, but he's really pleasantly surprised me.
Well, here it comes. My man of the match was Alexandros Paschalakis. Some big saves, didn't make a single mistake. Ran forward to the pitch to clear a very dangerous ball.
That was great. That was brilliant.
Without Paschalakis, it could have been much worse. Olympiacos could have been behind from the first half. Some big saves, 3 big saves throughout the match. I seem to remember 2 of them in the first half. Another immense performance by Alexandros Paschalakis. Olympiacos are very blessed to have Paschalakis between the sticks. Absolutely immense. You made some really good points about Rodinei, but I feel like Paschalakis really kept us in this game and kept us dreaming throughout the game. So having said all that, what is your coach's grade?
It's tricky. It really is tricky, and it's one of those things that I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, but I haven't thought about it. Do you know what I mean? Like when you have something that you've just been putting off, and so I knew it was going to be at some point. Sorry, that's just living in New York, mate. There's sirens everywhere. Look, the subs is what killed me. Like it took so long to make the subs, and then you fall behind, and then you make the sub. Like Pedense should have come off at half time. Masura should have been playing. That man is a dog. He is a dog. He is such a hard worker. You need him in games like this. You need him to track back. You need him to just get involved in everything. Like the minute he came on, he was involved in everything. When that situation, when that chance that he jumped up and the goalkeeper dropped it out of his hands, and then it was offside, and then someone shot it and the goalkeeper saved it. I don't know. It was like last couple of minutes. That was Masouras getting involved. It wasn't El Kabi. El Kabi was like a foot away. It was Masouras who jumped up with the keeper. So I just wanted this subs early. I really, really did. So with that in mind, even though I like the starting 11, I don't think I can give him more than a 6. I really can't. And we weren't bad. We should have got the draw out of that. But because of how long it took for the subs to happen, I can't in good conscience give him more than a 6. So 6 is what I'm giving him.
Oh, we're talking about the ABCs. Sorry.
ABC. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. A B-. C+,
nice.
B-. Because a B is what? So a B is like decent. An A is good job, like great. A B is like decent. A C is passable. So I give him above passable, below decent. If that's how I do it in my head. Sorry, I always do it in numbers instead of because we do that when we write them out. When we write them out, we have them in numbers. Mm-hmm. So I always just instinctively go with numbers.
No, me too. Yes, well, we're both from the UK school of thought on this one, but I think you have a very good point. I think I'd give him a B- as well because the system was there, the philosophy was there, the mentality was there, but I really believe he was let down by the players. They were just the big personalities did not show up. I really believe that. Some childish displays from the likes of Podense, from Kostas Fortounis. The whole front line, really, they let him down in this game. Whereas the back four and the goalkeeper were top of their game. It was there, but the thing is, again, like the subs were off. The fact that Pep Biel has fallen down the pecking order behind the likes of João Carvalho and Gustavo Scarpa. The attack was not good tonight. The attack was not good. So I'm going to give him a B-. I really believe there's something there, Dimitri. I really believe there's something. Like Costa said it. We've said it here so many times. This is at least a 1-year project, maybe even 2. You gotta believe in Diego Martinez, who is not a joker of a manager, and you gotta believe in Antonio Cordon, who is not a joke of a sporting director. He's a luxury for Greek teams, Antonio Cordon. He's the guy that built Villarreal, the Villarreal that we know and love right now. That's the guy who did it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and certainly Olympiacos are not going to be built in one season. It was the fact that you kept Pedro Martins, the fact that you kept Youssef El Arabi, ridiculous decisions to bring in 3 managers in one season. Olympiacos are still paying for it, but there's something there. Because it did happen. Olympiacos beat West Ham in London, and God damn it, they can beat Freiburg in Germany. This is it. Like, Olympiacos beat West Ham, then they lose 4-1 to PAOK, and then they put together a better performance against PAOK. And then you look at it, Tottenham, the undefeated Tottenham, lose 4-1 to one of the worst Chelseas we've seen since 2004. Borussia Dortmund get pummeled by Bayern Munich 4-1 or 4-0, was it, in their own home, and then they beat Newcastle for the second time this season. It's a game of narratives, guys, and Olympiacos are still finding themselves, and there's still something there. Any final thoughts there, Dimitri?
I agree completely. We're still finding ourselves and we need to give it time. But I agree with these comments, the last couple of comments, is Martinez's in-game management is a lot worse than what he's doing on the training pitch and the starting 11 and the tactics. It's the in-game management that so far has let him down. At AEK, tonight, Topola, it's the in-game management. If he fixes that, we're going to see the difference. And the reason why it's wrong at the moment is because he's still confused. It's what you were saying earlier. So it's not that he doesn't know what system to play, or he doesn't know what starting 11, or he doesn't have the team on his side. I think it's he's confused, and he still doesn't trust this team to bring them on, which is I think it's the same issue as Barzokas has sometimes, that the subs are wrong, or he makes his in-game decisions are wrong sometimes. So yeah, I agree with these comments here to end.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, so I mean, we're almost an hour and a half in, and I think that's going to be all for tonight. Thank you so much.
One last thing. Sorry, I've been dying to bring it up because we kept saying on the Patreon, and you said save it for the pod. A lot of you people disagree with me. I know a lot of patrons disagree with me, but Olympiacos, we're massive. We are a huge, huge team, and we're a big European side. We cannot be settling and going, Conference League is better anyways. It's great. That's where we're at. Yes, it takes time to build this team. Yes, we're going through a transition stage. I agree with both of these things. But in my opinion, we need to be aiming much higher than saying Conference League, this, that. Like, at least Europa League, we should be aiming to qualify, even if it's second out the group, even if we get Man United or whoever in the round of 32, much better than getting some tiny little village in the ends of, I don't know, Estonia in the round of 32, would it be, in the Conference League? Yeah, it would be, because we'd be dropping down, wouldn't it? So I'm sorry, we're too big, and I know a lot of people disagree with me because they're like, no, that's how we need to get our wins. That's how we're going to fix this culture of bad results that we've had in Europe for the last few years. But I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't. Olympiacos are too big for that, in my opinion. Sorry, I know a lot of people disagree with me on that.
Olympiacos are not a Conference League team. They're at least a Europa League team. I mean, even in England, the most cynical fans in the world, when I talk to them about Olympiacos, everybody knows who they are. Everybody remembers them. They remember those Arsenal, Man United, Burnley, now West Ham, Liverpool,
Chelsea.
Games. They remember them all. Chelsea, even though we didn't get a result there. But Olympiacos are a European side, and they need to act like it, and they're on their way to doing that. Antonio Cordon, I'm telling you guys, he's going to sort us. If Antonio Cordon gets dismissed, this is going to be the darkest day in the club's history. Let me backtrack on that.
That was a big statement.
Let me backtrack on that. It's going to be one of the worst moments in Olympiacos history. There, I backtracked. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for liking and subscribing. For all of those who haven't done yet, please do. It really helps the channel. Spread the word. We're going to keep growing. We're going to be bringing you some more exclusive interviews, some more fantastic opportunities. Join us on Patreon to join our quite banterous WhatsApp group. There's going to be some merchandise coming up as well, and we're going to be bringing you a lot more interviews as well, guys. So thank you very much for joining us. I was Kostas with a K, or Kostas Lianos, doesn't matter. And Dimitri Koimtsidi, any last thoughts?
Dimitris with a D. No, that's everything. Olympiakos Panapola,
not a TH.
As always. Not a PH. Olympiakos Panapola, as always. I have every faith that we're going to beat Freiburg away. It's in 3 weeks, I believe, not in 2 weeks, because we have the international break.
There's an international break, yeah.
Just FYI, in case anyone had lost track of dates. So I think that's on November 30th. November 30th. Thursday, November 30th. That's the game against Freiburg. I reckon we're going to beat them. But who knows? I thought we were going to beat them at home. So yeah.
It's a different story. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.